Greetings, my fellow intellectuals and bookworms. Now it's time for another book review, unexpected as it may be. I'll explain the reason for my absence, although it's not really important. It's been so hectic for the last month of school, getting work caught up, doing current work, and it's hard to actually like it's hard to deal with work. Got 320 points worth of assignments done this weekend, 6 of them. School has a electronic system called Canvas, which allows you to view work when its due date and how many points it's worth and so on anytime, which you would think is good because it means you can bring work home with you over the weekend, but the thing is glitchy as fuck. This Easter Sunday I had brunch, but that's not important. So here's the book we'll be reviewing. Our Revolution by Bernie Sanders. First of all, if you're a conservative, just know that even though I condemn you for being hypocritical on things like theocracy and so on, and not having any real ideological positions, know one thing. I don't really hate you. I just think that your policy positions are weird, disingenuous, and sometimes outright heartless, cold, and cruel. And I'm saying that in the nicest way possible. I'm even pulling some punches. But you have to acknowledge that you don't really have any. That your ideology has basically degraded from personal responsibility and not taking government handouts, which, to deregulation, giving corporations free reign to do whatever the fuck they want, um, allowing the wealthy to abuse laws and loopholes while screwing everyone else, helping corporations get away with committing crimes while throwing poor people in jail for them, and and the the personal responsibility and being against handouts isn't even, I don't know, relevant anymore. It's not even an actual tenet. It's basically just a smokescreen to hide the fact that you don't have any policy positions. Like, personal freedom is a very important Republican tenet, but there is absolutely, but they don't care about personal freedom, at least in any meaningful sense of the word. Um, you want you want to you want to share information about questionable things the U.S. government is doing, even when it relates to the First Amendment. Well, you're a traitor and you ought to be hung and or shot or charged with a crime. Um, you think that religious freedom should apply to all? Well, you're a traitor. Um, you're a liberal? Well, you're a leftist, SJW, socialist, communist, faggot, gay-loving son of a bitch who deserves to be shot. You think moderate gun control is necessary to prevent mass shootings? Fuck you. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Never mind the fact that that's basically the same thing. And yes, a gun is a tool, but it's a tool that is often used for mass murder. And their ideology isn't really consistent. You want to do drugs? Well, then you're be thrown in prison for doing it because personal freedom doesn't apply in that instance. You want to be non-religious? Well, fuck you. Religious freedom only applies to Christians because that's their ideology. But I'm kind of getting off track. This book is written by Bernie Sanders. It's an important, essentially, part of his describing his agenda, what he believes in, policy positions, and what have you. Got it from Amazon new for like $26. It was not only an interesting read, but it was inspirational. After reading this book, I'm convinced that Bernie Sanders is the only candidate who not only stands a shot at winning in 2020, but is the best candidate across the board, mostly because all the other candidates are low on experience, but that's a point for another time. I feel like And I also read it because it appeared that he would not only sign up for the race, I bought it last year, that he would not only sign up to run in 2020, but he would probably be the front runner and or the nominee. And I can say after reading this book, it's full of it's practical. It tells you not just what he wants to do, but how he wants to do it. So for all those dumbass motherfuckers who think, "Oh, Bernie Sanders, while he has ideals, is too much of an idealist. He doesn't know how to fund his Medicare for all or his education for all. He doesn't where are we going to fund it, Bernie? Blah, blah, blah." He not only has proposals for those, he has how to fund it. And it's very inspirational. So here's a list of people I recommend it to. It's basically everyone in the country. Civic students should be required to read it. People who learn about civics in this country, which describes our political process and is required for seniors in the hopes to inform people who need to vote while being nonpartisan, should probably read this as a sample case. And you might be arguing, but wouldn't assigning this book infringe on the freedom of people who are like conservative or something? Well, first of all, no. Second of all, Fahrenheit 451 is written by a guy, Ray Bradbury, who is almost certainly a liberal. Yet you don't hear conservatives complaining about their kids being forced to read the book because they think, for some odd reason, that book, I don't know, will protect their kid against a fascist government led by Obama. You get the point. And I don't feel like this violates their amendment. It doesn't like forcefully indoctrinate them into liberalism. It just simply teaches them that other people's beliefs exist and what they are. But of course conservatives wouldn't like that, because if their kids became aware of other beliefs, they would almost certainly realize that modern American conservatism simply doesn't have anything backing it up. The ideological foundations of freedom and personal responsibility don't really exist to any meaningful degree. You want to oppose the government? Jail for you. You want to use drugs? Jail. You commit a crime and you're not wealthy? Jail. No welfare for you. Corporation needs it. Approved. Not, for example, taking personal responsibility for any issues. Oh, our infrastructure's failing? Fuck the infrastructure. We need lower taxes, and we need to give tax breaks to the wealthy. Never mind the fact that that the thing is degrading because there's no funding because of them. Global warming? Global warming is a liberal hoax bent on by Obama to destroy the American way of life in factories. I'm not exaggerating. A decent number of conservatives, particularly from the South and rednecks, actually believe that. The government is going to set up FEMA camps, and you're going to be required to have an internal passport. Never mind the TSA Real ID program is just one step on the New World Order to forcing everyone to have an internal passport to travel. They're going to implant chips in us and track us like humans and mind control us so that they can make us their slaves. Never mind the fact that we already have an internal passport and a universal ID, which a lot of conservatives are complaining about. Basically, a driver's license. But it would really undermine conservatives, and there would be a lot less conservatives. The younger generation isn't conservative, at least in any sense of the word. So, according to polls, only 17 to 20% of millennials are conservative, and they have serious demographic problems, which I'll probably lay out in a future video called An Open Letter to Republicans. But the only real momentum they have is simply the fact that a lot of older Republicans, because a lot of their base is old, has, I don't know, kids and grandkids who could be, I don't know, brought up in Republicanism. But if they actually were required to read something like this, they might learn about how their own belief is shaky and probably lose it. So that's probably why they don't want it. Anywho, so I feel like this should be required for civics students. I feel like it should probably also be required for anyone on the left. I i.e. people who are not Sanders supporters, mainly people who want a moderate candidate, Joe Biden type or Joe Biden type Democrats, so that they can at least understand the opinions of the opposition before trashing them. I also feel like conservatives should be required to read it, simply because to really understand the opposition, you should at least know it before saying, oh, all liberals are evil. They're going to kill us all. They want to bring communism and a fascist dictatorship to the U.S. I also feel like anyone who wants... I also feel like anyone who's, I don't know, wants to, who will vote in 2020 should be required to read it, so that they can at least understand the candidate. And that's one of the main reasons why I bought it, because I wanted to understand, like, what he would actually do. And so I recommend this to everyone. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars because it was a really great book. I recommend that you go out and buy it. Like, comment, and subscribe if you've not done so. Thank you, and good night.